Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at the 10 best video game bosses that are just heads and hands. This trope in boss fights has been around for decades, and we've had plenty of memorable encounters with these floating disembodied baddies over the years. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Tiki Tong, Donkey Kong Country Returns. The main villain and final boss in Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii, Tiki Tong is a classic head and hands boss that plays out pretty much how you'd expect. DK and Diddy Kong have to dodge clap attacks, punches, and ground pounds and deal damage by slamming on the red gems on the villain's hands. Once the hands are no more, Tiki Tong spews flaming heads at the duo, upping the chaos. It isn't the most innovative boss fight, but it was fun nonetheless. Visage, Final Fantasy VIII. I know we took some liberty with this one since Visage eventually has a complete form in Gargantua, but we couldn't resist. This creepy monster is a head and hands, conveniently named Lefty and Righty, protruding from the ground and attacks Squall and his friends by using devastating magic attacks. Deal enough damage and Visage climbs out of the ground and takes on an even deadlier form, Gargantua. It's here where it loses the head and hands gimmick, but that initial phase is qualification enough for us to earn a spot on this list. Queen Zeal, Chrono Trigger. It's no secret that Chrono Trigger is arguably the greatest JRPG ever created, and its boss fights are a big contributing factor. The fight against Queen Zeal on the Black Omen near the end of the game is a testament to this, and her second form offers more of the head and hands goodness we know and love. She's capable of doing massive lightning damage to the party. Her two hands and head have their own life bars, and while you can take out each hand, you'll be open to a hard-hitting counterattack if you do so. It might be best to just literally smash her face only. As a fun Easter egg, if you have Magus in your party for this fight, his music will play instead of the typical boss music. Demon of Song, Dark Souls 2. The Demon of Song is a grotesque head and hands frog-like thing. It hops around the arena, taking swipes at you. In typical Souls-like fashion, you'll dodge, parry, and slash at the boss until you emerge victorious. While the Demon of Song does have a full body per se, it makes this list based on the uniqueness of its design, and that you primarily interact with the gross face and hands that emerge from what we think is the creature's mouth. Nasty. Knuckle Talk, Super Mario Odyssey. It really wouldn't be a Nintendo game without one of these things, eh? The Knuckle Talk fight in Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch is one of the most recent head and hands bosses, and also one of the most fun and innovative encounters in the entire game. You'll do the typical song and dance, dodging the hand slams and running around the arena. What's cool here is that using Cappy's capture ability, you can take control of one of the hands and fly it into Knuckle Talk's face, sending him flying and repeating the process. Do this enough times and Mario nabs those sweet, precious moons. Sigma, Mega Man X. Easily the hardest boss fight on this list, the Sigma final boss fight in Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo was many gamers' first encounter with carpal tunnel syndrome. The third phase of this grueling encounter has Sigma transforming into a giant robot with, you guessed it, a head and floating hands as the focal points. You have to use Sigma's hands as platforms to attack the head, but they're constantly shooting out electricity to knock you off. On top of that, the head also shoots balls of energy and flames at you, creating one of the most chaotic, claustrophobic boss battle arenas ever. If you're patient and skilled enough to beat Mega Man X, we salute you. Mazal, The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. It was a bit tough to choose between Minish Cap's Mazal and Wind Waker's Goden, but ultimately the spot on our list goes to Mazal due to its clever way of utilizing Minish Cap's shrinking mechanics. They're similar in appearance and mechanics, but Mazal has the added layer of requiring Link to shrink down to deal direct damage to the boss. Once you shoot out each hand with the bow and arrow, Link enters Mazal's mouth and must use the mole mitts to clear a path to the correct pillar to swipe his sword at. It's a fun twist on the head and hands gimmick, earning it this spot over the Wind Waker counterpart. Maggalore, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. First introduced in Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Maggalore is an alien magician from Halkandra that enlists Kirby's aid to repair his ship so he can return home. In a bit of a twist, he also turns out to be the primary antagonist of this and subsequent Kirby games. His final fight consists of 3 forms, with the second and third lending themselves well to the head and hands art style. While the fights don't technically involve the gimmick in their overall mechanics, the design is clearly taking inspiration from other bosses of this style, and Maggalore is an iconic Kirby enemy worthy of a spot on our list. Bongo Bongo, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Phantom Shadow Beast Bongo Bongo is the main boss of the Shadow Temple in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This terrifying monster is clearly the inspiration for similar bosses in subsequent entries, and is definitely the most iconic. We all know the formula by now. Shoot the hands, expose the head, deal big damage. But the fight against Bongo Bongo has an added twist. The rest of the body is invisible. You'll have to use the Lens of Truth to make it visible, adding an extra layer of difficulty if you're out of a magic meter. Adding an extra layer of difficulty if you're out of magic meter. Bongo Bongo isn't just a fun name either. The fight takes place on a large drum, and when he bangs on it, Link will bounce into the air, rendering him vulnerable to attacks. Andros, Star Fox 64. Andros in the original Star Fox for Super Nintendo is one of the earliest examples of a head and hands boss, but his N64 counterpart is easily the most iconic. Flying around in the R-Wing and blasting his eyes with lasers and disabling his hands is some of the most fun you can have on the system. This fight is a perfect mix of familiarity and difficulty, and if you take the correct route throughout the game, you'll face Andros' secret form. He transforms into a floating brain and eyeballs, and this fight is done in the new dynamic 3D style, offering players who find it quite the challenge. If it weren't for this Andros fight, we may not have the goofy head and hands trope we have today.
If I go down, I'm taking you with me!
What's your favorite boss fight on this list? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.